Hello, this is Denise from Minty Green Mama, and I am just coming on to do another video because I have been thinking a lot about do I have too many tarot decks? And the answer to that is no. I don't think that I have too many, but I do have a lot. And lately, I've been getting a lot more. There's been a lot of new decks coming out. I've had a lot of decks I pre-ordered come in, and it's gotten to a point where I feel like I have so many decks now that it's hard for me to spend the time with a single deck to really connect with it. I have a very limited time that I get to spend on my like my personal inner work and my tarot in my life because I am busy. I am a full-time mom. I homeschool, so I've got a lot going on. So what I have been really feeling lately is like a pull to really kind of slow down accumulating cards, which is so hard because there's so many good ones coming out, and there's so many good ones that I just got, and I have like a couple more on the way, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like all at once, you know. I've kind of come up with an idea for myself. Like the decks I pre-ordered are still going to come in, and I'm still super excited about a lot of those. I've got my Dame Darcy Alice deck is coming. It's on its way, and then I've got another one that I pre-ordered for in October, and so I'm just really excited about those. And I'm still going to enjoy working with those, but I thought, you know, it would be really nice for me to kind of have just a few decks that I'm really focused on for a month. Just give myself at least a month to really work with these decks, to really spend a lot of time, like personal time with these decks, so that I can develop a stronger connection. Because having a lot of decks to choose from is really nice, but if I haven't spent that personal time of building that relationship with that deck, then it's hard for me to to know which one to go to. So if I have 5 decks I've never used before, and I just, if I have a certain question, if I've used a deck, this is like a long drawn out way for me to say it's easier for me to know how to use a deck if I worked with it before. See there, that was easier. That worked. So all this kind of came to a head when I was using the Power of Surrender cards. Now I've spent a lot of time not necessarily with these cards, but I've read the book, and I spent a lot of time working with the Power of Surrender. So I was using the cards, and I got Surrender Your Addictions. And I was asking kind of like a tarot related question, and it just made me think. It made me really think. Why do I feel compelled? I mean, besides their beautiful, gorgeous pieces of art that I like to look at and hold, I'm very tactile, and I like to hold the cards, and I like the sound of them. But besides that, like, why do I need so many decks? The answer is obviously you don't really, to work with tarot, you just have to have one deck that you really like. And I am so lucky, that I am able to have quite a number of decks. And so I've kind of decided to slow down on getting new decks. I'm going to let the ones come in that I've ordered, and then I'm going to kind of slow down on my accumulation. So that all being said, I'm going to I wanted to kind of show some of the decks that I'm going to be working with for this coming month of October. And they're not necessarily fall decks. I wouldn't say that they're my fall decks. I'm also going to be using my fall decks for readings for other people and that kind of a thing. But for my own personal work and really getting in there every day and connecting with the cards, I've picked just a few decks that I am going to be working with in October, and so here they are. So I've kind of separated them out a little bit by category. So for my my intuitive tarot deck, like one that I'm going to be working with very intuitively, I'm going to be using the Osho Zen Tarot. Now these aren't brand new decks, but I don't think any of the decks that I picked for the next month, well, with the exception of the one one that I just got, our new decks. These are all just decks that I have been wanting to spend more time with. And this, I've just always been such a fan of the artwork of Ma Deva Padma. Excuse me if that's not the correct pronunciation. And so, I mean, I still even need to find a good, you know, little home for these cards, but I just love these cards. I just love the feel of them. Like I said, I'm very, like, the way things feel is very important to me. Like, so I just love the feel of them. I love the looks of them. I love the backs of them. I don't know, just everything about these this deck. But I haven't really spent a lot of time with them. I spent more time with the Oracle deck, which I'm going to show next. But just the pictures are gorgeous. The size of these is easy to hold. The feel of them is lovely. Artwork's obviously gorgeous. I've probably said that 5 times, but it's like I really can connect to the artwork. I love this one. No thingness. And the guidebook that comes with it is really lovely. And I just haven't, you know, taken the time to really work with it a lot. And I'm really looking forward to doing that. So that's the Osho Zen Tarot. And I have so many. See, and I would have so much more room on my desk if I didn't have like so many tarot decks that's waiting to be used. So then the Oracle deck that I'm going to be using for October and really working with is the Tao Oracle. So it kind of goes with, it's still the artwork of Ma Deva Padma, and it's just really gorgeous. This is actually, I think, a lot older edition, so it has a little bit different backings. I think the one that is out now, you can still get it, but I think it has like a red back, which is still really pretty. But I mean, look at this guidebook. Look how awesome that is. But I love the backs on these. I love the backs on these. I mean, I love that. That's gorgeous. So I might eventually get the red one because I always want to have, like, this deck has been with me for a very long time, and I always want to have this deck around with me. So if this ever starts to get really worn, I'm very careful with it, but it might be nice to have the backup. See, this is my thing. I'm like, oh, I love it. Now I need a backup. So I'm calming down on the acquisitions, but like, just the backs are gorgeous and the pictures. And I even love the borders because it has so much information on these. It has the trigrams, you know, that form the hexagram of the I Ching, which is what this is based off of, the Tao Oracle. And I like how the pictures represent kind of the feeling, the overall feeling, the meaning behind that card. So pretty. It took me a really long time to actually get into this because it is so related to the I Ching. And that was a system that until not too long ago, it just kind of like didn't click with me. I wasn't very comfortable using it. And so just recently, I've been getting into using the I Ching, which is also kind of associated with this, what I'm going to be using more often this month. And I've read several books on the I Ching now, and I've kind of absorbed a little bit of the history. I've got kind of like my own feeling, my own perspective on it. And so I just keep my I Ching, I have these I Ching coins, or, you know, the Chinese coins in there. And I also have 3 nickels, because actually for me, they toss a lot better. So, and these are the 3 nickels that I got to use with this deck, like when I first got this deck, like so long ago. So somehow they've managed to stay with this deck the whole time. So they're special. But yeah, this is just such a gorgeous deck. It's beautiful. And the feeling of these is so good too. Like, it's just so like mad, and it just, I don't know. Is that weird? I love the sound that it makes when I touch it. Oh my goodness. I could be crazy. Okay. So that is the Tao oracle, and also associated, you know, with the I Ching. And because it is related to the I Ching, I also have a couple of other I Ching based books that that I'm using with it. These are just a couple that I have the Everyday I Ching and the Elven Book of Changes. There are two interesting ones because I like to do to throw the coins and build my hexagram, and then look up the meaning in a couple of different sources, as well as using the oracle cards and using that book to look up the meaning of the hexagram. So that is how I'm using that right now. And then I also have Tarot in the Spirit of Zen, which is I believe it is by Osho, and it's about the Osho Zen tarot, which is pretty amazing. And I found this used on Amazon. I'm so weird. And then so it actually has pop out. I bought this used, so I did not expect this to still be intact, but this still has all the pop out like mini major arcana right there. Isn't that amazing? Oh, so cool. I am so lucky. Sometimes I buy stuff on, like, I buy tons of used books on Amazon. If I can buy something used, a lot of times I will, just because some companies don't, you know, used, I don't know, they don't say that they use sustainably sourced paper, and so I feel like it's a little bit better for the environment to buy it used. Also, usually is less expensive. But yeah, this has a lot of really interesting information. I haven't had a chance to really go through this, and I plan on doing that next month in October, as I go through the Osho Zen Tarot and actually work with that a lot more. I will be using this for my meditations to kind of, I like to write down my first impressions and then kind of meditate with the card and read the book definition, and then kind of incorporate that into what I've already intuitively gathered about the card. And so I love, love, love decks that have like extra information. It's like if a deck comes with like a big book, or it has like more supplementary material, I just go crazy for that. I love that. And so okay, so I just have a couple more decks. It seems like a lot for 1 month. I just couldn't narrow it down any further. I'm going to work on this a lot more as the months progress, because I feel like if I could narrow this down even more with my limited time, that I would, it would be even better, like a better result. I'd be happier with the results. So we'll see how this goes. But I have, and I know you can still get this. I'm not sure. It's been out for a long time. I don't know if it's out of print, but I know you can still get it. This is the Navigators Tarot of the Mystic Sea, and I love this deck because you can get, like, there's a book. I think the book is out of print, but you still can find that. But then there's these books. They are not out of print. They are there's 3, and they're fairly large books. Fiction that are about basically a fictional story conveying information about the tarot, which sounded amazing. I'm only a little way through this, but I had originally decided not to work with this deck and put off this deck until later in the year, and I had just read the first chapter or so of this book, and you know, just the first 20 pages or so. And it wasn't written, so far, it's like a little hard for me to get through. Like, it's not written like a really, you know, like a novel that I would read just purely for enjoyment. But what happened was I couldn't get the story out of my head. And I kept like saying, oh, I'm going to have to go read that book. And I was like, no, I have other things to do. But it wouldn't leave me. So I eventually decided I'm just going to incorporate this into my next month and see how it goes. That's how that happened. But this is such an interesting deck. The story behind this deck, first of all, so one of the reasons I picked this deck and this next deck is because of my newfound start of studying Kabbalah and the Tree of Life. I had started this years and years and years ago. I had several books, and it just seemed a little too complicated, and eventually I just put that away and moved on to other things. But it's always been something I wanted to study, and so I'm picking up the study again, and this this deck I think is going to be a good tarot deck to kind of be an adjunct to my Kabbalah studies. And yeah, so this artwork, I was not into this artwork when I first heard of this deck. I mean, many years ago. I saw this deck in stores. I picked it up, you know, I looked through it several times. I considered purchasing it, and it's just something about the colors. Like, I guess I prefer like more muted colors, and these are like a little more like maybe saturated. I don't know. And besides just the coloring, is just the images, like, I don't know, like it just seemed a little like is this whole video going to be me saying like and I don't know, but I really thought that these images were cluttered a bit. And when I decided to finally get the deck, I didn't know if it was even still available anymore, and I found it on Amazon, and I was very happy that I found this deck. It was kind of just randomly. I don't know why it came to me to look this up, but it did, and I found out after I had already purchased the deck about the fiction books, and I was lucky enough to be able to find the companion book, and so I'm just kind of all set with like all the extra stuff that just makes me so happy. I don't know. So I'm really excited about going further and studying with this deck. Will I learn to appreciate the images more as I learn about what they mean? That's what I'm thinking. I don't think that the images are necessarily bad. I'm not saying that the artwork's bad. I mean, obviously, everybody has their own taste in artwork, and some people resonate more with certain decks than with others. So for me, this one is just because of the quantity of information, and that's why that one speaks to me. And hopefully the images will kind of grow on me as I use it, which they already started to a little bit, you know, so I'm really excited about that. And then following that up with this deck, Tarot of the Spirit, which has also been out for quite a long time. And this is another deck that has like so much more information available. And the colors, to me, like these are more in line with normally what I would resonate with, the colors and the images, both. The backs of the cards, I mean, I'm hoping to read more about what that represents, but the colors and kind of the way it's kind of more abstract images. I just like, see, that's interesting. Like, they do have images on the minors. It's not just it doesn't have just, you know, the Four of Pentacles. It has like a little bit of design, and not just the Four of Pentacles, but or Earth. Four of Earth. Sorry, this is a suit of Earth, but I really just kind of love these colors and these pictures. And this was one of the first decks because I'm trying to meditate more. I really am. But as a mom of 3 little kids, I get run ragged sometimes during the day trying to keep up with everybody, and then when I have a moment to relax, sometimes if I try to meditate, I just fall asleep. So I'm making an effort to try to try more often to meditate, and this was one of the first decks in a while that really jumped out at me, and I was like, wow, I'd love to meditate on those images. So I'm really excited about working with this deck. And then, so is gonna be the last deck, I think. Oh my gosh, they just keep coming. But I just got the Moonchild Tarot, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. And from the deck interview that I did with it, I think that this is going to be a really powerful deck for me. I just love the guidebook. It has so much information in it, but you can also get a lot of information intuitively, and the images. I love the backs of these, and you can like feel the design. Like, again, I'm weird like that. I love the feeling of the cards, and the images are gorgeous. And then with the information that you get, I feel like it's just enough that you can still use your intuition a lot. Because as much as I like the decks where you have a lot of background information about the design and all that, I do also like having a deck where I have plenty of information to go off of, but I also get a chance to really use my intuition and just kind of go with the meaning that like feels the best. So it's kind of a balance between intuitive and then also like decks that have like a big system behind them this month. So I'm really excited about that. And King of Cups. So I'm just so looking forward to working with this deck now that I have it. This wasn't originally going to be one of my decks for next month, but because I just received it and I am so excited about it, it kind of like crept in there too. So I went from having like 2 tarot decks and an oracle deck to having 4 tarot decks and an oracle deck, in addition to, you know, the whole Ching part. So that's kind of the whole point of this video. I'm feeling like I want to connect with these decks, and I just, you know, the more that I get, as much as I love this deck and I'm looking forward to it, you know, I feel like the more that are coming in, the less time I'm having to work with other decks that I've been wanting to work with for a long time. So how many tarot decks is too many tarot decks? I don't think I'll ever know the answer to that. Hopefully I'll never get to the point where I'm like done and I never want another deck, because I love the artwork. I love, you know, learning the tarot from a new perspective, you know, with each new deck. And I love oracle cards and my oracle card collection, but for me, and it's perfect timing really, because as we're entering fall and autumn and kind of the whole, you know, nature is kind of going into a state of, you know, rest instead of, you know, the exuberant growth of summer. I feel like I'm also going to be kind of withdrawing a little bit from being out and accumulating decks, and really just taking a chance to appreciate what I have in the spirit of gratitude, of, you know, the harvest season, and then also working more and building my relationships as kind of the year progresses. So I really feel like that's it's just kind of a fitting thing to do for the season. And also I'm just really looking forward, I probably said this 15 times, but I really am looking forward to getting to know these decks a lot better. And hopefully I'll be able to have some new information, Cabal related information that speaks to me now that I've had a chance to grow and learn as a person. So that is all I have to share for right now. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Okay.